we read a letter out. We've got the copy of the letter.
Yeah.
And then we handed over a box of at least 500 signed cards by general population. And the basis was saying that we do not want our super funds invested in any companies that sustain or build the illegal settlements. And that was the main thrust of it. And so we've opened, they're going to get back to us hopefully within 2 weeks and start working on trying to divest some of the super funds in those sorts of companies. Right. Well, as a superannuitant, I was horrified to realise that our funds were invested in companies which support or sustain or build settlements, illegal settlements, and it's the most terrible humanitarian crisis there. And while we have those settlements and they build more and more of them, the hope for peace gets less and less.
Okay, so you took the initiative and you gathered with a group?
So we decided we'd come and talk to this office which invests our funds for us. So I just got a few of my friends of our age together. We delivered a letter, and we also delivered about 500 signed cards from the general population asking to divest from any of those sort of companies.
Well, thank you very much for your support.
Thanks, Paul.
I came to support a campaign for divestment which was initiated by Palestinian groups. The campaign is like the one against South Africa, one for a boycott of Israeli goods, a boycott of investment in Israel. It involves withdrawing finance from Israel all around the world. Australia and the United States are already acting, and New Zealand should be acting too. We want our superannuation fund not to be making money from the sufferings of the Palestinians and from the brutal warfare against them of the Israeli army.
What kind of investments did the super fund have in these companies? What kind of companies?
Well, they have investments through banks, and you wouldn't always know what's going on, but in fact they have investment in companies that are manufacturing weapons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
and these are directly being used directly in this war, which is a war of an army against civilians, basically. An illegal war. It's not legal for an army to make war on civilians, but this is what's happening.
Excellent. Well, thank you for your support. Thank you for your solidarity, and this message will get across the world that New Zealanders do not want their tax money invested in the war machine and the illegal
Certainly
Israeli
don't.
occupation. Thank you very
New Zealand older generation. We are pensioners, and we have gathered here together as pensioners, specifically directing our request to the New Zealand Superannuation Fund, the chief executives at that level who are responsible to manage the fund and the investment of the fund, and to see that the legal criteria for their investment, which is ethical, is maintained, and to investigate at very deep level any area where the fund is invested to assist the illegal occupation of Palestinian land. Full stop.
We're here with Jimmy Odea. And Jimmy, why were you here today at the Superfund offices?
Well, I'm here because I just got the Green Left magazine from Australia, and I read in it where there was big disinvestment from Australia and America, and I felt really good about that, because once we start doing that around the world like we did for the anti-apartheid in South Africa, then we're going to get somewhere. And we know that America is giving them $4 billion a year, while John Kerry is supposed to be the middleman, impartial, because which we know the Americans are not. They're supplying them all the F-16s and bombers, and same as to Egypt as well. And this investment group here, I'm proud of them, proud to be part of it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Well, I feel we had a very successful meeting. It was initiated by the superannuants who were here today. Probably about a dozen of us went up and met the Deputy CEO of the Superannuation Fund and put out concerns. We congratulated them for divesting in some of the more objectionable outfits in Israel. but we're asking them to withdraw all funding from apartheid Israel, and we've asked them to meet with us to talk about a process that can happen as rapidly as possible, which they've agreed to do. So it's looking good for a divestment of the superannuation fund.
Thank you for your support.